So good morning or good afternoon and welcome to this international webinar. We will speak about mentoring and we're going to start in a couple of minutes. All right, so we are going to start with this international webinar. We're going to speak about the importance of creating mentoring programs in higher education programs. And first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody for your kind participation and your interest in this topic that we consider it has been a very valuable one. Many people is really interested in that, and thanks to the training working group. And before starting this webinar, I want to remind you that it's being recorded and that we are going to have a simultaneous interpreting into English and Spanish. And so, if you don't know how to manage with that, you can simply check that down in your screen, you've got a little globe, the icon of the globe, and there you can select the language in which you want to listen this webinar. If you press Spanish, you will listen everything into Spanish, and if you press English, you will listen everything into English. And also, let me remind you that we've got an option at the very end of this speech where you will have the possibility to ask any question that you may have about what our panelists are going to be commenting, Maria Said or Dragana Yeftit. And we will answer all your questions at the very end when we will open the debate. And also, you've got there the option to leave your questions and answers. You've got there the little icon also. And so, before starting, I want to thank the participation and the cooperation of one of the main organizers of this coordination and training working group, who is Maria Saif. And it has been a topic very, very valued, and we wanted to share that with all the universities that you are here with us. And we consider it is an easy way to share this information to all of you. And for that, as panelists, we are with Maria Saez. Thank you very much, Maria, for being with us today. She is the head of the Entrepreneurship Observatory of the Basque Country. And also, she is the international coordinator of all the projects in MetaRed X for capacitation, skills, and training group, working group. And so I give you the floor, Maria, and so you can introduce this wonderful seminar. Thank you very much, Esperanza. So first of all, I want to say thank you to MetaRed X and to everybody with us today with a different point of the globe. So that it is why I even cannot say good morning, good afternoon, because I don't know who you are and you're in a different timing zone. And I would like to say thank you for your interest because for the international group of skills and training and education, it is wonderful, really, that we see that what we are now doing about mentoring in MetaRed X is becoming of interest, and that what we do here is something that is useful for you. It is exactly what we want to take if we can make profit from all this in our network. As we were commenting, this project is the result of the cooperation between MetaRed X and an European project called REMAM. How was it done? So it was done in a very easy ways because the base of this collaboration are we, the people. And I had the pleasure and the honor to participate in an European project devoted to mentoring together with Dragana. She will be with us later. And all her experience on creative mentoring. And I also had the honor to participate in MetaRed X with all my colleagues. And during one of our debates, here I can show you all the colleagues that we cooperate in MetaRed X. And we started talking about, thinking about mentoring, why mentoring was so good. What for? So to complete our entrepreneurship programs. And mainly because in our universities, um entrepreneurship programs are devoted to support companies and companies that are initiatives from our students. But mentoring covers much more than business. Also, your professional orientation, your personal orientation, and entrepreneurship is that complex that we need more things apart from just our programs. And so we need this necessary motivation that an entrepreneur needs when he's working with our entrepreneurship units, and even when finishes our programs. That is why personally I saw this need, this necessity, because my students, when they end up with their MBAs or so, what do they have to do now? So that is exactly what we can offer them to these entrepreneurs who just jumped into the working world. And I consider this a shared motivation uh, for all my colleagues. And that is why we started this project. As I mentioned, during several years, since 2020 and 2023, Dragana Yevtik and her team, we have been working together around the concept of mentoring. So to make profit from the value of mentoring in our universities. So what did we do during these years? We did quite a big deal of things. Those are our members, the partners. The leader came from Estonia, but in this project, from the practical point of view, creative mentorship was a key element due to their experience, their practical experience in mentoring, because they have been working on that for several years. And they have been with us for these last 3 years. About the insight and the outcomes, we had three outputs, one book that I'm going to speak very few about that, a policy paper guided to public policy designing for mentoring on the universities. And the most important thing where where we concentrated all our effort, it is the mentoring digital toolbox that can help our universities to start with entrepreneurship programs with a very solid methodology. And as about the book, I'm not going to speak a lot. If you're interested on that, you can check it out in the Remam website. You can read the book and check the book. That is a very it goes straight to different cases, literature review, and everything regarding entrepreneurship mentoring. Even there is a chapter that is quite simple that where I participated about how to work with that. But the most important thing, as I said, is the toolkit to design a mentoring methodology. One of the main deficits when we start with a mentoring program in a university or any other institution is to have a methodology, because I want to do it, but how do I start? And so what we created in REMAM, in this European project, it is a toolkit with 3 orientations, different tools, but oriented to 3 groups: the coordinator of the mentoring program, in this case, our university's coordinators. Those are our focus, let's say. Also, another tool set for mentors. So once we find them in our universities, they may know how to work within the university and also with the mentees. And another tools package for mentees, because they need to understand how mentoring works and what they can expect from these programs and what are their duties. So I'm not going to go in deep detail, because we have the opportunity to count on Dragana Yevtik, and she is going to explain to us why is it important to use mentoring in our universities, specifically in order to guide or to give orientation to our students, not just to work in business field about their companies, but also to put a focus on the personal field, the personal and professional atmosphere as individuals or as CEOs of the companies. So I'm going to give the floor to Dragana Yeftit, that as I have said, she is a Creative Mentorships, the CEO, an institution that she founded herself. So she is an entrepreneur and an expert on mentoring. So apart from an expert, is this founder and is manager in the creative mentorship. And she has a wide experience designing the programs and supporting the creation of new programs and doing matchings between among mentees and mentors for professional mentoring, individual mentoring, and what is the one we prefer, that is the one devoted to entrepreneurs. And so I want to encourage all the universities who are with us today, so to make the profit from this session, to learn and to get the most from this network where we belong to, MetaRed X, and not just to work with mentoring programs in our universities, but also to use MetaRed as an internationalization environment. Let's say a point where to interchange mentors or mentees in Brazil, Portugal, Serbia, Poland, in our countries, and where we can work with the mentoring in a very cooperative way. So thank you very much, Dragana, for being with us today. And I give you the floor so to go in deep detail and to share with us the wide experience you've got supporting this program. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Maria, and thank you, Esperanza and MetaRed, for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here because I'm very passionate about mentorship, and that's what I've been doing for the past 13 years of my life. My name is Dragana Jevtic, and I'm the founder and the director of Creative Mentorship NGO. I have founded it with many colleagues 13 years ago, and when I did it, I had an amazing mentor. Today, 13 years after, I have another mentor. So I'm a living proof that mentorship works and that we should all have our mentors. And actually, I will be talking about why is it relevant for the universities and especially departments of entrepreneurship to have mentoring programs. Because for the students, for the visibility of the universities, for creating the culture of sharing knowledge and experience, that is really, really important. And many studies have shown that percentage of succeeding in business is much, much higher when a young entrepreneur has a mentor. So that's something we should always have in mind. We were invited to REMAM as experts on mentorship. Creative Mentorship Organization is non-for-profit and independent organization which was founded 13 years ago, but we were founded as a bottom-up initiative. 11 of us went to Sweden and visited different mentoring programs. We visited programs in universities, in unions, in career centers, for businesses, for entrepreneurs. And out of all these mentoring programs, we learned and created our own program. And all of us went through the program as mentees to see whether that can work and whether it's useful. And then when we saw that it's working, we created Creative Mentorship Organization and created a mission for ourselves to share and promote the idea of mentorship in the whole world. Since then, since 13 years ago, we have run many mentoring programs, and our network, and we can have some PowerPoint on creative mentorship now. Our network today, so this is how one of our events looks like, and our tagline is really transforming society one conversation at a time through mentorship. So when we were founded 13 years ago, our focus was to support and develop mentoring for professionals in arts, culture, creative industries, and media. We have a strong team, but in addition to our team, we also have advisory board who supports our, this is our team, but we also have advisory board from all over the globe who supports our development and who helps us spread our mission further. And what Creative Mentorship today is, actually, it's a very strong network of 300 plus, and today with the new cycle that we have going on of mentees and mentors, it's 350 plus ambassadors of the idea of mentoring throughout Serbia, Western Balkan region, but in Europe as well and further. In addition to our mentoring programs, we also support other organizations in starting their own mentoring programs for entrepreneurs, for social entrepreneurs, for creative industries, media, businesses, and so forth. In REMAM, we were invited as experts, and we created tools together with our partners. And we would like to share with you these tools so that you can see how useful they can be for you if you're thinking of running your own mentoring programs. Now, we know that some of you already have mentoring programs. Some of you would like to improve them. And some of you are thinking of creating your own mentoring program. So these tools can be an amazing capacity for you to start or improve your own mentoring programs. So we can share now the information from the website. So this is our team in the REMAM, and then also you can see our tools that we have created. And I would like us to go directly to the REMAM page. So the digital toolkit is what we created jointly, and you can see that's under intellectual outputs, and there it says interactive tool. So what is really important to have in mind when you look for starting a mentoring program, it is really important to think about what is the goal of your mentoring program. Why are you doing it? So no mentoring program should start without having a goal in your head. Why are we doing this? To have also in your head the concrete target group, to know also what resources you have, what time you have to run this, how many people, financial resources, and so forth. And what is, again, very important, it's to evaluate, improve, and then again, repeat and repeat. So these are the things that are very important when you're thinking about starting or improving your mentoring program. And these toolkits that we have created are useful. You can use them as a mentee or as a mentor, but I assume that for all of you, the most important one is the one for the coordinator. So once you click on this link, Remam Interactive Toolkit, it takes you to the website of Creative Mentorship, which is really interactive. And we wanted to show it to you directly on our website where we are right now, how you can use these tools. They are very, very effective. So as we said, that's good, Adna, we can stay here. If you can go up just a little bit, Adna, so that we can see. Yes, so as you can see, you have a total toolkit for a mentee, a total toolkit for a mentor, but also the one for the coordinator. And very important thing at the beginning of the job of a coordinator is to advocate and to advocate and to find the way to find partners in your university, in your entrepreneurship department, who will say, yes, we really need this mentoring program for us. So for example, to help yourself to make this job easier of creating the mentoring program, you can start by, let's say, when you click here, you see all roles. So you can be a mentor or a mentee, but now you're a coordinator. So you can click there. And then you have processes which are divided in start of the program. So that's the preparation, then during the program, and then at the end. So let's say the start of the program, because that's where you will have to start. And then you do the search. Once you do that, you will have 18 tools that will come up that will help you to create your own program. And there you can run and read all these tools. They're very, very useful, and they will give you so many new ideas what you can think about. But for example, one that I wanted to share with you is learning outcomes. If we can go down a little bit and find them. Yes, so you can here see the tool, the learning outcomes. Once you click on it in the middle of the photo, and you can open it, you will see how we have created these tools. They are very easily used. Adna, if you can just make it a little bit bigger. It tells you as the coordinator of the program what you receive, what are the learning outcomes for the institution and for the mentees and mentors once you do have mentoring programs. So this one sheet is really useful when you want to advocate for a mentoring program. So you can close this now, Adna. Thank you very much. So for the universities, as I mentioned, when you're thinking about mentoring programs, the most important thing is if you do have a mentoring program, you will have empowered students. You will have empowered future entrepreneurs. And that's, I assume, goal number one of every entrepreneurship department. You will have the satisfaction of students. Furthermore, you will build a culture of knowledge sharing and collaboration. And that's really, really important. And that's something that you want your university to be known by. The publicity for the university will be increased because you will have a lot of material to share on media, but also your mentees and mentors will be the best ambassadors, people who will be talking about mentoring, who will say how much they gained from this. Because mentoring is a two-way street. It's an interactive process of knowledge and experience exchange between a more experienced professional mentor and a less experienced professional mentee. And in this game, everybody wins. It's a really win-win situation where both mentee and mentor grow. together, and also I strongly believe where our universities grow. You will, if you start your own mentoring programs at your departments, you will also invest in leadership skills of your students, and that's incredible wealth. And something that might be last but not least, you will empower your network. So you will widen and empower the network of your alumni who can be mentees and mentors. So that's really important. And on the other hand, your students, your entrepreneurs will not be alone in their attempts to start their own companies. They will have support throughout the whole process. They will have a partner on a mentoring journey and on this entrepreneurial journey. And they will have somebody who believes in them. And that's worth $1 million. These students, they will have new knowledge, new skills, new contacts. So this is incredible. Also, they will have increased self-confidence. That is something that once they have that, they can reach for the stars. So when mentor believes in a mentee and when he or she shares the knowledge, there's no end to the success of the mentee and of the entrepreneur. And as we said, this network of mentor is shared and the mentee becomes part of the network, and that way they have network again. So this is really important. Now, we as the organization run our own mentoring programs. We share our knowledge as we did in REMAM, but we also support other organizations in starting and designing and implementing their own mentoring programs. And we have done that with a wonderful organization in Serbia called Serbian Gaming Association. We have done that for 3 years now. We ran 3 mentoring programs with them, and each and every one was better than the previous one and a little bit better and improved. And now we're just starting the 4th Serbian Gaming Association or SGA mentoring program jointly, and this one will be international. And I have invited Christina, who is the managing executive manager of SGA, to share the experience she had in cooperation with us. And first, I wanted to ask Christina, why is it that you decided to start the mentoring program as the association?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dragana, for the introduction. I'm always happy to jump on every opportunity to praise the creative mentorship team and also to transfer what Dragana already mentioned, this passion for mentorship, which really stays with you after any conversation you have with the creative mentorship team or any cycle that we organize and so on. So without further ado, to go back to your question, Dragana, as you may imagine, in order to make a very good and successful video game, you need people who are programmers, artists, but also HR professionals, writers, musicians, really a wide plethora of departments and professional expertise is needed to create a game. And gaming is a very fast-paced industry where tools and software change basically every 6 months, I would say. So you have to stay on top of it all the time, and in parallel, improve your soft skills all the time as well. So we realized that a very useful way to upgrade the talent pool in the gaming industry is specifically mentorship, because we can connect people one-on-one. And they can go through a very, I would say, intense relationship for a limited amount of time, which really benefits both sides. So we thought that this type of encouragement is really appropriate for the gaming industry. And as you can assume, our members are teams and companies that make games and other services closely tied to the gaming industry, and we really had absolutely no experience in any sorts of mentorships. But we were very lucky that in our own country, we have an organization that's so experienced in this as the creative mentorship team. So we reached out to them and they were very happy and forthcoming. And basically the main thing we got from them is the system. The system, the plan, the methodology, all materials and tools, basically everything that Dragana presented in her slides before I started speaking. So they basically gave us everything that we need in order to do these things successfully. So far, we had 3 cycles, and the 4th one just started. So I would say that more than 100 gaming professionals in Serbia were very fortunate to go through this program. So that is what we got from the team. And of course, the professional support of their experts. They have a very wide network of all sorts of professionals that you might need in order to do these cycles, because it's not just about the mentorship sessions, it's also about the additional value of all of these workshops that they helped us organize. And of course, I would say the last thing is the passion, which is really infectious. As soon as you speak to Dragana for half an hour, you're like, mentorship, yes, it's the best thing ever, and it really is. So that is what we got from the team. But what we got from these cycles in general is, I would say the first thing is exposure. More people found out about our organization, and I would say we gained additional trust from the community, which I think is very important, because then they believe in your expertise and they can see that you can cooperate successfully with other organizations, even if they are not from your industry per se. And of course, networking, I would say that's a super huge plus, not just for us, but also for the participants. I would say that our network was increased a lot and strengthened by being in this cycle. So I hope, Dragana, that answers your question. If there's anything else I can add.
Yes, and I just want to make a parallel. So everything that Christina said that their association received from having a mentoring program is actually what an entrepreneurship department would receive from having a mentoring program. Now, because we know that for the universities and for higher education institutions, the student is in the focus. For us, the mentee is in the focus. We run our own mentoring program here in the Western Balkans, and we have been doing that for 13 years. And Christina was a mentee in our program as well. So in addition to be cooperating with SGA and Christina as consultants and partners, Christina was our mentee in one of our previous programs. So I would like to ask you, Christina, what is your angle on what you received as a mentee? Because I can again see the parallel that the mentees, the entrepreneurship students can receive that from the mentoring programs themselves.
Exactly. I was very lucky to be not just on the side of the coordinator, as you guys will be, but also from the side of the mentee. And I remember for the cycle that I applied for, there was a huge competition. I think maybe something around 150 people apply for 50 spots or something like that. So by now, this is a very prestigious program in Serbia, and I know people are fighting for these spots, and they apply year after year in order to get in. Really, I know people who have applied like 3 years in a row. I was very lucky to get in on my first try. So I was in the cycle 2 years ago, I believe. I was very fortunate to be paired up with an absolute senior and an amazingly professional woman from the IT industry in general. And it's really hard to describe how useful that was for me, not only on the side of the hard and soft skills, but mainly to build up my confidence, because she helped me in parallel with my work. So everything I learned about from the mentorship, I could apply immediately in my day-to-day job. So that would also be maybe my advice for people who are going to be in the program. And also, last but I would say definitely not the least, a lifetime friendship. I believe that all our pairs from our cycles and my mentor, we will all stay following each other closely, visiting each other, even if we're not from the same country. So it's really, really something special.
Thank you so much, Christina. Often it happens that mentor and mentee become lifelong friends. It doesn't have to be, It doesn't have to be, and that's not a symbol of success of a mentoring relationship, but very often it happens like that, especially since our mentors are people who support our mentees pro bono, and that's something that's amazing. And through doing this, through running all these mentoring cycles year after year, year after year, and improving each cycle, and building upon our knowledge and from lessons learned, we actually create a network or a movement, a community of good people who want to share their knowledge and experience, who are ready to share what they know and what they have, the resources, the experience, the past knowledge with their mentees. So really, little by little, we are trying to build a community based on these good values. Thank you so much, Christina, for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dragana. Bye, everyone.
Now, as Christina said, we have started, as I said at the beginning, as a bottom-up initiative. We knew nothing. We learned from others, and we did very much so during this Reman project as well. And little by little, we were creating our own methodology, and we were having trial and error method. So what we did, actually, yeah, it's okay that we take another minute or so before we share this, because I just want to tell people what is really important. We started little by little, and then we learned in every cycle. And we learned at the beginning, very often everybody thinks that mentoring program is about mentors. No, it's not. It's about mentees. Mentees are in the focus. So that's something that's really important. Then we realized that often mentees don't know exactly what it is that they need. So we realized after one cycle that we have to give them support in that, to do goal setting, what it is that I want to accomplish with my mentor, where it is that I want to be in 1 year time, 3 years time, 5 years time, me or my organization or my idea or my product. So we realized that. So every little cycle, we were learning and learning and learning. And then when we were doing matching, for us, something that is really important is that we do matching across sectors. And that's something that we discussed with Maria a lot. It is so important to have mentors and mentees that don't always come from the same sector or from the same country or from the same city or from the same generation, because that way we expand our horizons. We have different perspectives. We learn more. We don't put ourselves in the box, but we think outside of the box. So, and that's a double learning experience, both for a mentee and a mentor. So these cross-sectorial connections when doing matching are really, really important. So this is something that is important. And what I said earlier is, once you start thinking about creating your own mentoring program or improving the one that you have, it's really important to know, why are we doing this? What is the goal of our mentoring program? What do we want to accomplish? And then, what is our target group? And then, how much time do we have? Which people do we have? Because it does take time. It does take time to run a high-quality mentoring program. What are the resources that we have? And so forth and so forth. And once we do start our mentoring program, it's important to continuously monitor mentoring work of mentor-mentee pairs, and to evaluate our mentoring programs and to build upon through our lessons learned. And then in the next cycle, we improve and we repeat and so on and so on. So now we can share with you what we have learned in the past 13 years. And that is our methodology today. So there is a preparation phase of every mentoring program, and then there's implementation phase, and then there's evaluation and reporting. And there's so many things that happen in all of these phases. This is just an example that we gave so that just that you can have an overview what it takes. It can be, preparation can take from 2 to 4 months. The duration of a mentoring program can be from 6 to 9 to 12 months. For example, Adna and I, we did mentoring programs for British Council Media for All. Some were lasting a month because they were a pilot. Some were lasting 3 months because they were a pilot. But the best effects come if the mentoring programs are 6 or 9 or even 12 months long. And that can be adjusted depending on the needs of the higher education institution, but it's important to have in mind how long they can be. And then, of course, it's really important to evaluate and then to apply the lessons learned to the next cycle. And then for the next slide, we just put what it is that we do when we cooperate with our partners. So we support with creation of all the program documents and guidelines for all the phases, because you want to have an open call when you do a mentoring program. And then you want to create a model. That means how will our mentoring program look like? What we will include, what we will not, how long it will be, who will be our mentors, and so forth and so forth. And then you need a toolkit. You do have a toolkit on our REMAM site, and there's also a lot of materials on the Creative Mentorship Knowledge Base page on our website, which are in addition to REMAM. Please feel free to have a look at that and use it. And then you also have evaluation documents, because we have usually our... Adna, can you please go back 1 second to the previous slide? In the implementation phase, we have a kickoff workshop, and then we have midterm workshop and wrap-up workshop. These are the 3 main workshops for the program. And then we have consultations in between, where we answer to potential questions or challenges to both mentees and mentors. So now we can go to the next slide. All the documents and materials, and also the workshops itself, we can support you with that if you ever want it, or we can just have a Zoom session that we support you in how you will do it. And then what is really, really important when you do have a mentoring program, that you have a coordinator who throughout the program supports mentor-mentee pairs, because the coordinator should monitor how the work is done, and if they have any problems, any issues, that a coordinator can jump in and support. So this would be an overview of how the mentoring program looks and what you can gain out of it. And I really would like, if you have any questions, to open the floor now to those questions or suggestions or comments.
So in this moment, so far we don't have any question. We're going to give you some time. But in the instructions, we left some questions. And one of the questions for Dragana and for her team will be, why is it that important to have a methodology to start with a mentoring program? Can you answer this question, Dragana?
Yes. Maria, would you like to jump in, and then I can add on? What is your angle? Why is methodology important?
Yes, it is really important, because it gives you strength. It gives strength and security to all the parts. I had a mentoring program in my university, and what I saw is that when we don't have methodology, the mentors, they feel unsafe, unsecure. They don't know what to do. A mentor is a very highly experimented person, a senior. But this person says, I want to be a mentor, but I don't know how. I don't know how to behave. I don't know what I have to do. If I have a mentee that works on video games or biochemicals, I don't know what to do. But when you have a roadmap, when it is clear, I start in this point, or how to sign an agreement with all my duties and rights, and so on. What are the steps? How many times do I have to meet the mentee? Where? How? In a cafe or in a specific place that the coordinator offers? And mainly, to have a methodology that you can transmit. So the thing that you will transmit to the mentee, that you are not just giving advices, but that you are helping the mentee to think, to take his or her own decisions, giving contacts, making this person see that he or she is able to do the things and can find the tools. So mentoring doesn't mean to give answers, but that you've got a guideline to make the mentee think. And sometimes we are unable. The first time myself, I was a mentor, and being a professor, you normally trained to generate yourself the answer for the mentee, but not. You have to ask very good questions, and for that you need methodology. Methodology also for the coordinators, for the universities. A coordinator may think, shall I organize an event? How can I do matching? Or sometimes I don't have to do these weddings, these matchings. Or I can do a mentoring group in between the entrepreneur team, or one mentor, or several mentors. That they can be, for instance, the representation of a business board, a group of mentors that somehow they can just work with mentees for financial point of view, legal point of view, marketing point of view, the product. So there are many formats, many things, and you need some guidelines. You need best practices. You need some methodology. According to my experience, sometimes mentors didn't want to participate if they didn't have a clear guideline about how to behave, how to treat the mentee, and even where my relationship starts and where my relationship ends. Because lifelong friendship not always has to be a reality. Okay, you don't have to be every day with your mentees. You need to also know where everything starts and finishes. And for me, methodology is key. And as Dragana said, to start with that, you need this methodology. But first of all, the question, why am I doing this? What for? And in our cases, in entrepreneurship programs, is sometimes to avoid the solitude. When you want to be an entrepreneur, you are very alone. You need to avoid loneliness because you need to support yourself. But here you find support, because sometimes when the leader has a team, but supports a big weight on the shoulders, and even this person needs help, needs personal help, motivation, believe that truly you will grow up. So for me, it is vital. I would suggest never starting a mentoring program without a methodology.
Thank you so much. If I can add, this is everything you said is really, really important. I can maybe separate it in several layers. For coordinators, it's important to understand the processes and to define clearly the target group. For mentees, for example, we have to have the goals on which they are working in order for them to be successful in the mentoring program. So what we do with them in our methodology, we work on their SMART goals. For mentors, very often we have amazing CEOs, amazing directors who don't know how to be mentors, who don't know how to transfer knowledge. So training for mentors is also important, and that's part of the methodology. And as you said, Maria, many of professors at the university are used to academic mentoring. This is not academic mentoring. This is personal and professional development. So mentors have to practice active listening, posing the right questions, supporting, sharing, dancing with a mentor with a mentee together. So that's really, really important. And then in addition to these three layers, coordinator, mentor, and the mentee, we have to have monitoring. And that's part of the methodology, because there are many mentoring programs nowadays that exist. People put together mentees and mentors and they say, okay, you go and do your mentoring thing. That's not really a mentoring program. That can be a try, but that's a mentoring program without a methodology. If you have a structure, if you have a frame, if you have certain borders and rules and agreements, then it's a bigger chance of success. And also support throughout the program. And for example, for us, it was also something that we learned by doing. What is it that mentor and mentee can do in addition to just talking? So we can have a mentor-mentee session online, or if we're in the same city, we can meet. Or my mentor can meet with my team. So we can have a meeting, the whole team with my mentor. Or I, as the mentee, can come into the offices of my mentor and meet his or her team and learn from them, do some shadowing. Or we can go to a conference together, or we can create a business plan together. So there's so many things that you can learn from a methodology and enrich your potential mentoring program.
Thanks a lot, Dragana and Maria, for your clarifications. I think it has been really clear. And it has been really easy to understand the importance of methodology. And in order to finish in time, and because we are remaining just some little minutes, I would like to ask a question to Maria. I would like to ask you, what are going to be the next steps to create our training group? So our plan in our team, in our international working group within MetaRed X, so we want to make this methodology much more accessible to MetaRed X. We want to transfer the knowledge that we generated in the European program, and we want to translate it into Portuguese and Spanish. And also because of the use of the languages that we need in all the contexts. For all the 8 countries that we are part of MetaRed, because we want this methodology to be used and we want it to be adapted to each university, because maybe in a near future we can speak about a mentoring network. That was what Dragana commented before. Why it's still limited us to a geography? If I can have a mentor in a university from Brazil or from Argentina or from Chile, because in my case, I want my product or my service to be international. So first thing we're going to translate to adapt into the culture. So we're going to localize the translation. And as our inviter, so as it has been mentioned before, we want to spread all the knowledge from the European project, and we've got funds for that, because something that all the European projects want is, once you have been working on something, once you have developed a prototype, this has to be transferred. And thanks to MetaRed X, it is going to be translated and transferred. So we are now within this project thanks to MetaRed and Esperanza. So thanks a lot, Maria. Thanks a lot to the whole team from Dragana, like Adna and Katarina. Thank you very much for being with us and sharing with us your experiences, your knowledge, everything what you have been doing in this sector. And that is all. So thank you very much to all of you to be with us today in this international webinar. So we kindly invite you to follow all our networks and the mass media, just in the case you are interested in participating as universities in this project. With the training group, I left in the chat my email address, so to manage all your requests if you are interested in this methodology. And that is all. Thank you very much for your participation, and see you next time. So also let me remind you that this recording will be sent to all of you. And that's also. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Bye. Thank you.